Hello and welcome to the channel. It's the Eradicator, and today we are going to talk about this ship that you're seeing right here, the RSI Galaxy, the brand new concept ship from Cloud Imperial Games for Star Citizen. And yes, it is a ship branded Robot Space Industries. It's got the looks of the Robot Space Industries ships. Kind of looks like the Anaconda from Elite Dangerous, if some of you guys are familiar with this ship. And yeah, this is a video that's been a long time coming because I wasn't quite sure about what to think about this ship. It's just couldn't make up my mind because yes, it's another big ship that is in concept. There are a couple of them, right? We think of the Nautilus, we think of the Perseus, we think of the Endeavor, the Genesis Starliner. There's plenty of those. There's a lot of videos actually out there on the internet about just how long it's going to take for Cloud Imperial Games to make all of these ships, but they're also recruiting developers, so maybe it's not going to be taking 2 decades or 3 decades as what people are saying, but it's definitely going to be taking a long time nevertheless. And one thing for sure is that we don't know when that ship is going to come out. Now let's talk a little bit about what it can do, and this here is really what makes the biggest strength of the of the Galaxy here, which are the modules. It is a modular ship. The devs have said that they have made some progress with the modular technology, and that's why we should be seeing more of these ships in the future, at least in concept phase, and hopefully some of the modular ships that we already have in the game, like for example the Caterpillar or the Retaliator, will actually become modular, and then we'll be able to swap the different modules as we please. But I don't know, I guess maybe we'll need to have more tiers of persistent streaming for that to work. I'm not sure really what the roadblocks are, and I think it would be great if we could have an episode of Inside Star Citizen dedicated to modularity, or at least to explain to us, what they still need to do and what the challenges are. So currently they have 3 modules for the Galaxy, including the cargo variant here, which will bring a whopping addition of 512 SCU, up to the total of 64 SCU that the base Galaxy has. So that's going to be a total of 576 SCU of cargo capacity. It's basically as much as the Caterpillar, exactly the same amount of cargo capacity if you are going for the freighter version. Now there's also going to be the med bay module here, which is going to be including medical bays of all tiers, including a tier 1, which are the medical beds that you find normally at the landing zones. That is the only ship that has, I believe, tier 1 medical beds. I'm not sure if the Endeavor does have tier 1 as well, so very impressive here. Now tier 2 and tier 1 allow you to respawn in your ship, so that's going to make the Galaxy here a great ship for some of the combat missions that may require you to respawn. You go to a difficult bunker mission, for example, something where you may expect to die with some of your friends. You have extra armor and guns inside. You die inside the bunker, you respawn in your Galaxy, and you go back out there in the bunker to finish the job, and that's going to be very practical. Also, the refinery here, and unlike the Odyssey here, which also has a refinery, but I believe, from what I understand, that the Odyssey can only refine fuel, the Galaxy will be able to refine all kinds of materials, so that's also quite practical. It's going to be a great addition to, for example, other ships like a Mole or a Prospector that players will be able to work with. So they will have some of their mining ships, and then they will just transfer the saddles into the refinery, where those are going to be refined and then sold further down the line. And here they said others, so it seems like other modules are going to be coming in the future, but they are not saying what kind of module. Maybe bombing module, perhaps. I'm not really sure. Construction modules, that would be great, like making it a competitor to the Pioneer, maybe at a smaller scale. That would be also quite interesting. So let's have a look here at some of these nice concept art for the modules here. And that is the freight module, and you can see here they are using those cranes with tractor beams, which are pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same technology that you would have with the raft from Argo, so using the same larger type of containers as well, which is going to make loading and unloading much easier at the landing zones once we finally have commodity timer, and physical loading and unloading. So that's going to be quite an advantage over other ships that do not have this technology and that are going to require more labor. Next, that is the medical module here for the Galaxy, and you can see, yeah, lots of people over there being healed. I'm not sure if people are going to be really playing it like that with their uniforms, but yeah, it looks like a nice picture. And this is the refinery module here, where we can imagine that probably the materials are going to be refined in the machines and will come out there in boxes that will then be placed in the cargo hold, the base cargo hold of the ship, where they'll be able to be sold. Remember that the base cargo hold only has 64 SCU of cargo capacity, so that's not going to be a lot. I hope that the refinery will come with extra cargo capacity, otherwise it's not going to be that interesting. So yeah, let's go down a little bit. Yeah, they talk about the tractor cranes, that what we've talked about before. The interior, I think that's one of the biggest strengths of the ship, is the interior. It's got a nice deck here with the pilot in the middle, and here the crew here, the two crew are going to be using some remote turrets. So this ship has quite a lot of defensive capabilities, and this is really what makes the difference between other ships like the Caterpillar or the C2 Hercules, which really are not great at combat. This is a ship that's not going to be the best at combat, but it will be able to hold its own. That's why it's also labeled the big brother of the Constellation. The Constellation is not the best fighter out there, but it can do combat mission, and I believe that the Galaxy will be able to do that because it has 3 double size 5 turrets that we can see, and those are going to do quite a lot of damage. And I believe that as a result, it's also going to be comparable to how the Karak is doing in combat. Again, a competent ship, but also not the best at the same time. It will be very interesting to see the duels between Galaxies and Karaks when this one will be coming out there. So we got some specificities of the ship right here, including 110 meters in length, so a pretty large ship, twice the size of the Constellation, 60 meters of width, so that's going to be quite a broad ship. It did probably will require an extra large hangar at some of the landing zones. 22 meters of height, so not that tall. 6 crews, so yeah, it's going to be quite extensive. As I said, the pilot, but also 2 co-pilots, probably some engineers and doctors, and for some extra gunners as well, or maybe cargo operators in the back. It's going to have the 3 remote dual turrets as we talked about here, some missiles as well as a hangar that we'll talk about a little bit later, and 1 size 3 shield, which I believe is going to be the weakness of the ship. A ship this big should have at least 2 size 3 shields, so yeah, keep that in mind as well, that it's not going to be a very strong ship against bigger ships that are going to be deemed capital ship killers or with much more firepower. I think that even a Hammerhead will be able to stand its own against Galaxy for sure. Now let's go down a little bit here, and here we have the prices. Now this is where it hurts a little bit. So yeah, we have different price range. Why is that? Well, here we're first going to talk about the prices here, which is with fresh money if you're not using store credits. So the Galaxy Freighter here coming up at therefore 576 SU of cargo capacity at $415, which basically makes it a competitor to the Caterpillar in this case, because they have the same amount of cargo capacity. Why is the Galaxy more expensive? We're talking about almost $100 more. That is because, as we said, the firepower, it has much more firepower capability than the Caterpillar. The Caterpillar does have 2 turrets. The gunner has also firing capabilities, but it's a rather weak ship also, with much lower hit points too. And it cannot do that much, although it is rumored to be modular in the future, but it cannot do that much. It doesn't have its own hangar, for example, and overall it seems less flexible than the Galaxy just because of its hull. We also have the hospital version here, a little bit more expensive at $430, and the refinery version at $425. You can also buy everything for $530, and that is going to be including all of the modules that we are seeing here, and the modules are actually quite expensive. We're looking here at $70 to $90 for the prices, so you're actually doing quite a you're actually getting quite a pretty good deal. Basically, you're getting more than a free module if you're taking the Galaxy Complete, because if you take the base Galaxy with no modules at all, then that's going to be for $350, but you are going to have to add some of those modules in the future, or you can have the bare bone ones with just 64 SU of cargo capacity. Now, there is one good thing though. If you just want to take a Galaxy with nothing inside, you are going to get a loaner ship, and that loaner is the Karak. So that's going to get you, for at least the time being when this ship remains in concept, that's going to get you a Karak for $350. That is almost half the price of the Karak right now, worth $600. So if you actually want to have a Karak for a temporary amount of time, this is actually a very good deal. And I know a lot of people who did that. They took the base Galaxy in order to get a Karak, and they're very happy with it. So yeah, I can totally understand here, and great job CIG out there for the marketing move here of tempting people to get a Karak for $350, because in the end I think that it works. A lot of people have been spending money here. We're almost at $100 million of pledges for this year, so it's been a pretty good year for CIG. So yeah, these are my thoughts about the Galaxy. I believe that probably I will be taking the complete version for myself, because I like the idea of having a ship that's better in terms of looks, I think, and in terms of potential than a Caterpillar for the same amount of capacity. At the same time, I'll be able to swap the different modules if I need to have a respawn point at the same time, or if I want to play Refinery too. So I like the idea of having one hull and different types of gameplay possible with modularity. I just hope to see when eventually this will become a reality, because obviously as of right now it's not. Anyway guys, that is all for this video. So what about you? Are you going to take a Galaxy? Have you taken a Galaxy, or do you think it's outrageous and that they should be finishing the ships that they have right now in the backlog first? Well, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you answer the question, you are in to win this, guys, this Crusader E1 Spirit with LTI. So don't forget to subscribe and answer the question. Also, you can have another one to win on Discord too, if you join our video sharing contest, or you can also become a Patreon member or a Join Button member for automatic access. Guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later.